आपस में बात कर रहे हैं हम लोग, तो अपने यहाँ there is some problem ना.
Okay, so I have muted Premraj sir. I'm extremely sorry for this inconvenience that is caused, and I don't know, usually this doesn't happen, but you know, this can happen because of this online thing, and technology can sometimes go haywire. So thank you for this cooperation. Everybody logged in again, and I'm very thankful to you. Let me introduce myself. My name is Jaya Obhan, and I'm the founder of Power Up. And we are doing this series, under Power Up for 6 days. This is a speaker series, and we are lucky to have some brilliant speakers who are coming on board with us, and you know, we get to learn so much and so many insights. The last 4 days were amazing, and today we are looking at Setuji for his commendable experiences that he is going to share. This program, this series is conducted by KV Premraj. He's one of the leaders in our platform. Our platform is about membership, wherein we have 1 year membership for people who like to join us. When you join us as a member, you get 48 events in 1 year. These 48 events are divided into 24 and 24. So 24 events are where we meet each other, we collaborate, we try to co-create. A lot of learning goes into, you know, when we meet each other, when we try to do a lot of brainstorming, when we are there to support each other, we get to know each other. So these are the 24 meetings that we have. The other 24 are divided into 12 and 12. So 12 are speaker sessions where we have renowned speakers coming in, like we had the director of Agile last time. He came and he spoke, and he was so happy with the kind of you know, energy that our group had, that he has sent hampers for each one of us, and that was like, you know, exciting in the group. So those kind of speakers. Then we had the CEO of Shemaru on our platform. We've had Dr. Shailesh Srikhande, who's the Deputy Director of Tata Memorial. Today we are having Setuji, who is going to, you know, yet again enlighten us about, you know, about himself, about a lot of his learnings in his life. So these are the 12 sessions. These are extra sessions that we are doing because we love to bring to you a lot of knowledge and a lot of people who can share their own journey and hence help us inspire. The remaining 12 are training workshops. These workshops we do for, you know, about LinkedIn Essentials. So day after tomorrow, we are having this workshop, LinkedIn Essential, where we are going to talk about what kind of profiles we must have, what is the kind of, you know, engagement that we must have, how we can have more engagement on our posts, how we can connect to more professionals who can help us, you know, do our business better, and our professions better. So these are the kind of workshops that we intend to do. So now it's about LinkedIn, but eventually we will have something on maybe a digital marketing. Maybe we would have on entrepreneurship, leadership, and lot more. So these are some exciting events that we bring to you, and hence we have some really good members joined in with us, and I'm very proud to have these people with me, because alone we can never do anything. So in the guidance of our business associates who have always stood by me, Mr. KV Premraj, Mr. Sanjay Teli, Mr. Abhijit Sansgiri, Mihir Koltharkar, and Mrs. Iona Hegde. So these are our leaders, and they are always here in support of us. And we have this brilliant team which always keeps supporting each other, and together we are growing. So thank you very much for hearing me out. Over to Mr. Premraj. Let me just introduce him. Mr. KV Premraj is an author and a futurist speaker on leadership and management. He has spent 37 years in banking with experience in public and private sector. He was the CEO of BPO arm of a leading private sector bank. Premraj is the co-author of 3 books. All 3 books hit the #1 spot on Amazon best-selling list. Views expressed by Premraj have been published in Economic Times, Business Standard, Financial Express, Indian Express, Mumbai Mirror, and other periodicals. Premraj hails from Mumbai and resides with his wife, son, daughter-in-law, and mother-in-law, along with a pet cat-in-law. So that's about him. And I would be giving it over now to Premraj, but let me just check before that if his audio is now fine. Premraj ji, will you say something so that we know if your audio is good? Okay, I can see him connecting. So once he has connected, we'll have it over to Premraj. It's a full house today. I'm so excited. I hope technology doesn't betray us. But if it does, we are still not going to give up. Okay, he's connecting and then he should be here in a moment. Okay, so meanwhile that Premraj connects with us, why not I talk to Setuji? So okay, I'll just move there. Okay, Setuji, I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for coming in. We introduced you as a professional manager, and now I would like you to introduce yourself so that our viewers know all about that is to learn from you and from your profession. So please tell us something about yourself, sir.
Thank you, Jaya. That's very nice of you. Jaya, I started my professional career as a lecturer in chemistry. Okay. And that was decades ago, I would say 82, 83, when I just passed out from my college. Okay. From the teaching chemistry, I moved into banking. Initially, it was with State Bank of Travancore, which was an associate, which now is State Bank of India. Been in State Bank for the first 12 years of my career, where I learned the ropes of banking.
Yeah.
And from there, when the new generation banks was coming up, or when the market was opening, 95, I joined a bank called Centurion Bank, which was just in its initial stages. When I joined, the bank did not have a branch. And then the journey took me with Centurion from 94 to 2010.
Oh,
Prem, are you back?
Yes, he has connected, but we are yet to see if his...
Okay. So then, you know, from...
Yes, sir, you may please continue. We have everybody listening to you.
Okay. So, you know, the next 15 years or 16 years, I spent with Centurion Bank, which was a wonderful experience learning. Once again, we saw it growing from strength to strength, both the organic expansion as well as the inorganic expansion. And then we had 4 financial institutions getting merged into Centurion Bank. And then we had the last scenario where you got gobbled up and you merged into the larger ocean called the HDFC Bank. I continued there for some more time. But my passion being learning, I had decided to hang my boots the moment I turned 50. How much is too difficult a question to answer. So then when you should hang up was the easier decision for me to take. And so I had decided before I turned 50, I would quit. And exactly 2 months before I turned 50, when that financial year ending came to a close, I said goodbye to professional full-time corporate employment, and then got out when I had 10 more years of corporate life left, technically.
Wow, okay.
Last 10 years, I'm fully into learning. And I believe the best way to learn is when you try to share, train, or teach others. And incidentally, my association with Centurion Bank also ensured that, you know, we had quite a large team who wanted to do something continuing, which resulted us in forming an organization called Centurion FinTech. Okay. You can see from my the background logo, all we have done is replace the C with X. And X stands for Ex-Centurions. Okay. So, and what do we, that's about the journey. Here also we are fully into There are many, 3 or 4 aspects of it. One of them is learning. Obviously, we have a Centurion FinTech Academy. Then we are also into management consulting. We are into another area, which is essentially the entrepreneurial development programs, where we help people, move into and grow with their entrepreneurial journey. And then last but not the least, we try to help people in their financial planning as well as growing their wealth. So broadly, these are the 4 areas.
Wow. So it's such a beautiful combination you have, learning along with, building wealth. So learning to build wealth and building wealth to learn. Wow, that's like a amazing combination.
There I would like to say, Jaya, all along my life, I have only followed one diktat.
Okay.
Walk behind Saraswati and Lakshmi will walk with you. This is something which I have shared with myself, my family, my colleagues, and to a large extent, my life has more or less proven that you just follow Saraswati, Lakshmi, aapke saath chalte hain.
Wow, so true. And I think this formula really works. Let us just see if Premraj is back and if he would want to. Otherwise, I have already a lot of things to ask you. Premraj,
I'm back. Yeah.
You're back?
Yeah. Somehow there seemed to have been some technical issue as far as the audio is concerned. Even my wife couldn't hear you all. Now that hearing has happened now.
You can hear right
I'm sorry
now.
about that audio. Sorry everyone for that audio glitch.
No, we are glad you're back. Very glad.
It's nice having you back here and nice interacting with you. I heard a part of the intro that you gave.
We were just playing film music. You go ahead and as they rightly say, no, behind every man there stands a successful woman, and we can see that Ranjini's laptop is the one which has ultimately helped you.
Right.
Yes. So yes, we give a lot of credit to Ranjini. So yes, Premraj, over to you. We just happened to introduce ourselves, and I was so excited with Setuji's profile. You may please go ahead with the questions that you've had for him.
Yeah. So you have been a supervisory role for so long. You have been a great boss. And as far as employee engagement is concerned, with the people working under you has been exemplary. How is it that you managed to have such a good employee engagement wherein productivity increases and the attrition rate is amongst the lowest we can see? Can you share as to what is the secret of this?
Prem, right in the beginning of my career, I realized bankers, we deal only with 2 things. One is money, second is people. Whether it is in the form of customers or colleagues or whomsoever. Handle them well, they are the best. Slightly mishandle or tweak, they can turn out to be disastrous. And this learning helped me right in the beginning. And another thing was, when you need to build businesses, you really need people. I can lift 3 kilograms, 5 kilograms, 10 kilograms maximum. But if I have to lift, let us say 100 and 200, I can't do it alone. I need others. The same logic applies in any growth, any organizational growth. And if you ask me what made or how was it easy for me or to connect with people, I treat people as, individuals. The roles are there. You could be the regional head, the cluster head, the branch manager, the teller, the cashier, whatnot. But respect an individual as an individual. They have a life. 2 things which I learned right in my beginning was know an individual personally. To a large extent, I think I have a fair understanding of my colleagues, where they come from, what they are, their strengths, their areas of competencies, etc. And another challenge which I have realized, Prem, is that, we need to always retain relationships. As a banker, you are there in a place for 3 years maximum or 5 years maximum. Whether it is the customers or the colleagues you work with, if you maintain the relationships, they will come in handy and useful. Another thing is, I would say God has been kind to me. I was one of those lucky where, people gelled or vibed well with me, and which helped me to retain a tougher, retain successful teams even when we went ahead with the toughest of times.
I can vouch for that, because I reported to you from 2008 to 2010. I was coming from Mumbai. It was a completely alien culture. It was a new language, new culture, new setup, and even we could say a new bank. But I did not have any problems because of you. I've worked 38 years in the corporate sector, and I can unabashedly say you were the best boss I worked under.
Oh, that's very kind of you, I would say. And I thank God for at least people feeling about the same about me.
And that was one of the reasons I had a free hand wherein I could manage and get things done as I wanted without much interference. And that helped in customer relationship and, more important, in employee engagement. Because most of the people who were with us then are still there, are still in touch with me, and they are doing extremely well for themselves.
Nice to know that.
And another thing is, we have so many people now. We are about 48 people here on this call. Had it not been the relationship that you maintained, these many people would not have found it good enough to spend an evening listening to us. Thank you very much for that. You have been lecturing in IIM Kozhikode, which is one of the most prestigious IIM institutes. Can you tell us which are the subjects or the subjects that you handle there, and how different it is from teaching or interacting with other of the top institutes where you're also visiting faculty?
I fully agree with you. It's one of the best institutes I have ever associated with. And it came, once again, there is a saying, the teacher appears when the student is ready. When I hung my boots from the corporate sector, I did apply to IIMK and a few other IIMs also. But then IIMK, because, I had some connect or interest in that area, I did not get any response. One day while I was taking a session for senior vice presidents of Axis Bank, during the lunch break, I see a number of calls, missed calls from one Calicut number. I call back. So there was a professor who called me and said that we are looking for someone who can take us through a subject which is on the best practices of successful banks in the country. There is no data available per se. No banker would actually publicize this. Can you help us? I said, how much time do I have? He said that you have around approximately 2 weeks. This is my first association with IIMK. I don't know if that topic was not there, I'm not sure whether they would have called me or whether I would have actually connected with IIMK. I did research because, nobody publishes their best practices on the website. And Google can't help you what happens in an organization. So there I went. Thankfully, once again, the contacts came to my help. Friends, colleagues, competitors, they were all reasonably well known. So they all helped me. And the session I took, which turned out to be the participants gave, and I would say they were quite happy with the rating which they gave me was the one which connected me to IIMK, or which allowed me to continue. To answer the question, the first few sessions would have been in finance because I come from finance as my domain expertise. But after the third session, they asked me, we have a major program called Management Development Program. And most of the people who come are senior executives from both private and corporate sector, both public and private sector. We would love you to handle them. And there, can you share your experiences, and why don't you move from finance and banking to organizational behavior? And that was a journey which I loved, I would say. It enabled me for many years. There were weeks regularly, during some months, during the peak season, when I would travel out of Bangalore every Tuesday morning, I would go to Calicut. Starting from Tuesday afternoon, the sessions would start and continue for 2-3 days, sometimes 4 also. And then you come back, and it was going on continuously for quite a long time. So I would say it was a wonderful journey. things got connected. All I can say is I did not try anything specific to get in there. Things fell in place, and once given an opportunity, it worked out well. And you know, IMA, if you have to be a visiting faculty, they can give you an opportunity, but continuance depends on what the ratings your participants give you. And you are brushing with, you know, some of the top-notch names in each of these segments.
Yes, yes.
So that also, you know, excites, not only excites you, it actually ups your antenna. So you are always aware that, you know, if my sessions are not going to do well, and you know, your benchmark is there. After every program, IIM has got a fantastic mechanism of publishing the list of faculties with the ratings from the participants. It's not like, you know, a corporate sector where the boss gives you the rating. And Prem, you being a speaker, you being a trainer, you also know, appraisal is most instantaneous when you are talking to people, especially in a classroom. You know, there itself, you don't have to wait for a quarter or a half year to know how you are performing. So I would say it fell in line, and maybe I loved every session I took, even if it was the same topics. I ensured that the examples were different, because concepts you can't change,
Right.
but examples you can change. That was the learning for me, and that was the kick for me.
And that's a good learning for us too. There are a lot of trainers and aspiring trainers on the show here who will take that feedback from you. You have been on the training circuit for about 8 odd years now continuously. How do you feel training has evolved over this period of 8 years?
Okay.
And what do you feel it will be post-COVID?
Initially, you know, when you asked me the question, I go back to my 1983-85 days, you know, when I joined as a probationer. And that time, the trainings I underwent in State Bank across the country, whether it was in staff colleges in Delhi, Hyderabad, or in Trivandrum, elsewhere. It was more of a lecture bhashan session. The faculty would come. He would go on lecturing from one end to another. And if you are lucky, you get to ask some questions. Otherwise, it was more of a one-way show. Then it became totally different. If you see, then came, of course, the gadgets came. I would say the most important learning I had was when it became experiential learning. You can teach any concept, but unless the participant experiences that and gets the feel of it, it will just, you know, okay, I heard something, chalega, but need not necessarily sustain with me for long. Now, next thing you ask me is, you know, how are things happening now? One of the greatest advantages as a trainer, as a participant, which all of us are experiencing now, is you don't have to travel. Otherwise, you know, to reach Calicut by around 11 o'clock to take the session at 12 or 1 o'clock, waking up early in the morning, all those negatives would have been there. I wouldn't call it negatives. I would say the difficulties were there. Nowadays, no issue. You get ready, and the participants are also ready. We undertake sessions, you know, for even participants abroad in Middle East and other GCC countries, where then, you know, at the appointed time, they are there, we are there. They are coming from there, wherever they are sitting in home or office, doesn't matter. And thanks to technology, and of course, your technology has got a lot of other features also. I'm able to not just show the PPTs and the videos, but I can also show the workings and calculations also. And it works reverse also. It's not one way. One great learning I had, Prem, in the training is actually your job is not to teach others. Your job is to ask questions which will make participants think. If we look back in our life, the maximum learnings we have had is when somebody asks some uncomfortable questions and you did not have a right answer at that point of time, or you did not get a right answer at that point of time. And this makes us think about it, and then we are able to deduce the answers the way we see it right. So to a large extent, you know, online training, if you ask me, we do share the topics, we do share the basics, but at the end of the day, it's a pure interaction which happens which enables the participants to engage with us and vice versa.
You have been a crack trainer. We have seen that. Apart from that, you're also good at building organizations. This is a skill that not many people possess. Would you want to elaborate on how is it that you have been successful in building organizations?
There, I am not one of those great artists or creative persons, but we all get to enjoy, when you do something and you see the results coming out. Let's say from a putty, if you're able to make an idol or a sculpture, and you also know that how it was before and how it is after. My first experience was set up something called Centurion Bank in Kerala. They called me for an interview and said that we have some licenses, would you start? And when I started, there was no office, nothing was there. That was the time, I'm talking of 95. Telephones was a difficult thing. My wife being a doctor, my first question the managing director asked me is, do you have a telephone at home? I said, my wife is a doctor, so we have one telephone. And at that time, there was something called, special category. So he asked me, would you have any objection in using that phone for official purposes? Because even under OIT, it would take 3 to 6 months to get a telephone. I'm not talking of 60 years before. I'm talking of 1995, which was just 25 years to where we are now. Initially, so that was where you started off from the home. Courier would not come and deliver things in your home. You have to go to the courier's office. Whatever you want to do, you have to give, you have to prepare, pack it, go deliver there. Whatever comes from Bombay, you have to go pick it up from there. And slowly you added team, identified building, started off with an office, and then you started to see it starting to grow. It is just like a planting a, seedling or a seed, and each sprouts adds value. That was a great learning for me, and I thank the entire team, both my senior top management who gave me absolute freedom to run the show, as well as the team who joined me to ensure that it made a success. And then, of course, we had a number of opportunities, Building organization did not end with one organization. Then there is something called organic and inorganic. Organic means you start growing the organization on your own, opening new branches, new outlets, etc. Then came the inorganic expansion through the M&A. And I was fortunate to have associated with 4 M&As and all four different kettles of fish. The first one, an NBFC. The second was a foreign bank. The third one was another new generation bank. And the fourth one, an old public sector bank. And each one of them brought in with it different types of challenges. With a foreign bank, the culture was Firangi. And you being a national, there the your lingos itself wouldn't connect. NBFC, they do business totally differently. They never came under the purview of RBI. So for them, financial discipline, your issues like, audit, compliance, etc. It was a tough call for them to understand. You can't blame them. It's not their fault. Then my last assignment where I had a major role to play because it happened in the region, which I was heading the South region for the bank. And the last one was the public, old private sector of 75 odd years, headquartered in the South. And I had a larger role to play because the vernacular language also played a part there. So their integration was a major challenge because they had a history of various unions for the last 50 years. So on the drop of the hat, you can expect a strike. And with the plethora of unions and trade unions across, if one fellow says stop, I will stop, the other fellow will say I'll start. Once the court gave the order, once the board took the decision to merge, that organization went into a strike for 2 months. You can imagine the customer's plight. For 2 months, branches of a bank was shut and not working.
And then bank?
Yes.
Okay.
And then one fine, Supreme Court gives a verdict saying that, all the cases are squashed, merger is on, tomorrow morning, it's happening. And then that was also great learning.
The roller coaster ride. And
I would say it was definitely a roller coaster, but then, you were excited, you had a fear, but you enjoyed going up and down because, that gave you the thrill. You don't know what is going to happen next time. The next moment, how it is going to happen, you don't have a ready-made script with you. But then fortunately, it worked out well. I would say God is great.
Yeah, you spoke about Centurion Bank having a lot of problems in initial stages, not having telephones, not having officers. If you look at it as a parallel in HDFC Bank, also which Mr. Aditya Puri never tires of speaking. They started with a hole in the wall office, and then they did not have telephones, they did not have air conditioners. I know of people, colleagues of mine who were still in the bank saying they did not have air conditioners, and when it was in the height of summer, sweltering summer, they used to work only in the banyans. Fortunately for them, we did not have any lady staff then, so they used to be working in the banyans. That is how HDFC Bank started, and we are happy to see where that has ended. And then
where is
the
it
merger
now?
with
Where is
Centurion
it
Bank
now?
also. Yeah, and the merger with Centurion Bank also was a pinch because of the starting problem that both banks had and the great staff members that both these places had. Thank you very much for your inputs. Now you are in a new role with the MD of Centurion FinTech. Can you tell us as to what this is? What is the company doing? And what is it that they can do for the society, especially for the SME sector, which is one of the beaten down sectors we have?
Centurion, as I was mentioning or explaining to Jaya, is actually started as a result of the camaraderie and the friendship we had of the colleagues from the erstwhile original Centurion Bank. You know, ever since I resigned, many of my colleagues would come and say, why don't we start something? See, first of all, I was also young, and they were much younger. So I was not sure, you know, whether we have the right thing on. We never had a problem. But every time, we always used to meet once in 3-4 months for get-togethers we would have. And every time this would come up, why don't we start something? We pushed and prodded it for 7 years. After 7 years, we decided, let's take a call. So in that meeting, there were around 20 of us. And I said, everybody speak out their mind and, you know, what is it that you think? Not a single fellow was there who had any concern about starting. The only complaint was we had not started earlier. Let us start it today, or if not yesterday. And from there it started. Then we decided, let's bite the bullet, start something. Because, you know, being bankers, we are all afraid. Let me be very frank. Bankers are the risk-averse fellow. We learn every credit decision is a fair risk. But when it comes to taking your own credit decision, which can be risky, you think 10 times before you start something. We started. Initially, I'll be very frank with you. When we started, we were not clear as to what that we were going to do. It was more of an association of people or association of friends. But then once you formed the company, the first thing was getting the name cleared. And once the company came, the capital came. I was thinking, few people will put some money, and, you know, so we put the authorized capital at somewhere around 500 crore. And we were all surprised pleasantly when, you know, the initial amount was much more than what we actually wanted. And then we had to give it back to others saying that, sorry, Bhaiya, our authorized capital doesn't allow us to take more people now or take more money. Then we started thinking, what is it that we have to do? Learning and training was one of the things which we started right in the beginning. And then we went on to learn where are the genuine pain points which people or customers experienced. One of the things which we experience, Prem, when we work in corporate sector is actually there is always a conflict and challenge between the organizational wants and the customer's needs. Sometimes we are focused to push the products so that the organization does well. And at that point of time, we need not be very specific to see whether the customer wants are genuinely being met or it is actually needed for the customer at that point of time. This was always there in the back of all of our minds. I'm sure you as a banker, you would also share with me the same thing. Then we realized we will start doing something which is focused exclusively on the customer. And for if that has to happen, we should not be tied up with any per se corporate, where our funding or, you know, financial revenue come from corporates. Once you start tying up, then you are forced to sell their products, push their products. And so with that in focus, we decided to work on 3 key areas. One is MSME sector. Unfortunately, the last few years, India MSME sector has been growing. So the micro, small and medium enterprises, we started working with them. How we promoted is essentially with almost all the associations, whether it is the Government of India, MSME Development Institute, the CII, the FICCI, the Management Association, the state government organizations. We connected with them and, we started interacting with them. I mean, in the last 4 to 6 weeks, we would have done half a dozen webinars across the section with various partners. The last one we did was, there were around 15 panelists which we coordinated that function. And 360 actual MSME customers participating in it. It was a great learning for all of us. See, here we identify the customer. What we call is, we have what we say is ideation to IPO. You come with an idea, we help you to crystallize it, and from there we handhold and take you to the IPO stage, where then, by the time you would have grown and learned the ropes of the trade. So MSME is one sector where we work with. Training, learning, and academy, both financial institutions, MNCs, we work primarily on the skill development areas as well as on other subjects like M&A, mergers and acquisition, financial planning and wealth creation. And coming to that, there we have tied up with close to around 20 odd organizations best in the country, which is for the financial requirements. So if a customer has a, let us say, need for a debt or a loan, or if somebody wants an equity, if his project is viable, we definitely help them in getting the right equity or the debt. On the wealth front, we have a growing middle class, successful middle class coming up. And the market share of Indians in the equity market is minuscule, not even a single digit. It's less than 5%. Take all puts together, whether it is your mutual fund or debenture or shares or whatnot, it's still less than 5%. And this is an area where, one of the latest trainings which I'm doing for an MNC, or our team is doing for an MNC, is they want us to handle sessions for, the bachelors and spinsters, what you call the youngish crowd. Then those below 30, 30 to 40, 40 and above. The requirements are different. Help them. You start with a subject called financial discipline, under which expenditure management is a major subject. And then from there, you move on to learn how do you create the surplus? Or are you still following the government pattern of deficit budgeting? Once you have the surplus, what you do with the surplus, ensure that you actually grow your wealth, not manage your wealth. So this we have partnered with, I would say, ICICI Securities, because, with them we are comfortable. Only reason is they don't have any fixation towards selling any specific branded products. So these are the 4 major activities. Corporates, we do work with them. We do work with corporates essentially, in the consulting space. Initially, most customers come to us from a financial consulting point of view, most of us being bankers. But then, once we come to know each other, from there we help them, whether it is in the automobile sector or in the agri sector or in the manufacturing sector or in the services or trade sector. We're able to help them in other facets also. I'm not claiming to say that we have the wherewithal for everything. But if I don't know technology, I know how to get the right person for technology to guide them correctly. For example, food industry. There are some customers in the food industry who's wanting to grow big, go international. So then we identify and locate some specialist consultants who are actually well versed in the food and food related areas. We work with them. When you work with such people, it's only a question of time before you start learning the nuances.
True.
And then you understand the tricks of the trade. I don't know whether I have answered you, Prem, because you gave me a free hope and I had a freewheeling chat.
Now, on the SME sector, what I would like to ask you is, Centuries mostly has its footprints in the south of the country and a bit in the Gulf, I believe.
Sure.
If there is a customer, or if there is someone who needs help on the western part of the country or northern part of the country, do you have the bandwidth and the wherewithal to help them?
We do have the bandwidth. First, let me answer that question straight. Where does my bandwidth come from? Having worked in national organizations, we have colleagues across the country, whether it is in Ludhiana or Jalandhar, or let us say Pune or Bombay, or let's say Calcutta or Siliguri. There are people, and some of them are actually doing similar things. What we need to do is we need to just, I do have customers from some of these sectors which you said. What we do is, for example, Mumbai, we do have customers. We do have customers, let's say from North, essentially the typical Punjab or Haryana area. We connect them with them. Wherever it is necessary, we just go, help them, and then, work with it. Today, it doesn't matter, brother, whether my customer is in Bangalore or Panchkula, because I am not meeting him, nor is he meeting me, even if he is staying next door. True. The meeting is happening just like this. Sharing of data is happening through online. And whether it is his banker that I need to talk or his overseas customer, 99% transactions or communication happen through the media today. So it's happening, we are there. And why we have not gone and, aggressively done the business there is actually, we believe, you start, stabilize, learn the pain points so that, you don't have to replicate the thing wherever you start. So it's only a question of time before you spread our wings to north and east. I would say west, we are already there, and we do have some tie-ups. One more thing I wanted to add, all the tie-ups we have with the 20-odd financial institutions, they're all India organizations. And some of the best names in this. It is not fair on my part to mention the names on a talk show. But those who want, the moment you visit your website, you would know who we are tied up with.
It's nice to know, and I'm sure the company will progress.
Thank you, Prem.
Now, you have been a CEO for quite some time. What is the best and the worst part of being a CEO?
I would say the best part is if you have a genuine, valid idea, and if you think that you can convince that to people concerned, whether it is the authorities or your team, implementation becomes easy. The other time, I have seen, you have also experienced, all of us would have experienced, many a times you have had wonderful ideas, but sometimes some get shot down for various reasons, not necessarily on merit always. So this is one plus point I have felt. The pain, I would say, the stakes here are quite high, the stakeholders are quite large. When you run as a CEO in an organization, you have a broad, the diktat which they have sent, outer circle is set. Within that circle, you can play whichever way you want to play. And here, you have to play, but at the same time, you have to draw your own Lakshman Rekha as well. And there, the stakeholders are different. You need to start thinking from an investor's point of view, the shareholder point of view. You need to start thinking from an employee. Let me talk about the employees, how it is different, prima facie, which we will all connect. When you work an organization, when you start an organization from its scratch on your own or with your colleagues, financial restrictions are definitely going to be there. You may have an authorized capital, you may have a paid up capital, and you may have 201 spending opportunities to prioritize where to spend, where not to spend. And when the going gets tough, initially they say it takes 1,000 days, minimum 3 years for an organization to go and experience one full circle. And during this phase, you will experience definitely turbulent times where you need to continue to work. I have had situations where, I have a lot of work to do, but they are not rewarding, or they are not getting rewarded immediately. These are all work in progress. And I have to ask my team members, let's work. At this juncture, please understand, I am not able to adequately compensate you. So sometimes they have had to work for months together without earning 1 rupee. And this comes only when, they are also built onto the costs, and they realize that, chulega, but this I have also experienced in my Centurion Bank days also. Let me be very frank. There we got salary. Here they may not get salary, but there were years when we had to work without getting 1 rupee increment, 1 rupee bonus, 1 rupee hike, because the organizations go through difficult times. Here it is the other way around. So the pain point is, you know that this is not right, or you know that, okay, they are all doing so well, you are not able to do anything for them, but then you need to still run the show. And you call the shots also. Yes, there is a boat.
Yeah, that's true.
There is a boat, but at the end of the day, your opinion also does carry a weight and it matters. So sometimes when somebody wants to do something good and you know it is genuinely in the interest of the people and the organization, but when you say, sorry, I have to say a no, all you can do is justify why you are saying no. And then saying no and then taking them along, that's a tough call. Touch wood, so far, so good.
You have been successful in that. We have some more time. Would you mind taking some questions, sir?
Please do.
Jaya, you can unmute. People, you can unmute and ask questions. I don't see anything on the chat.
Yes, I was just typing there that we can now open up for questions. It was such great things to learn from you, Setuji. Suman Siroya has mentioned here great learnings, especially the concept of experiential learning. I think that is one thing which nowadays is very, very popular. You know, we really need the attention of our audience, and we keep finding ways how we can do it in the most experiential way. So yes, that was a very good thing. Also, Ramesh, okay. So when there was this technical glitch, somebody said Mr. Setu can surely start on his own and speak for hours, keeping you engaged. So,
Jaya, that could also be one of my vices.
oh, really? Why do you say so?
No, you know, I would say there are days, you know, when we get into webinars and by the time it's over at night, my wife says, why don't you give some voice a rest?
Oh,
and
yeah.
perhaps it would be better you go and have some inhalation and saltwater gargling.
Yeah, actually, thanks for those tips. I also keep needing them. That was Radhika who said that. Is she your wife only? No. Okay.
No, Radhika is not my wife. I have a daughter named Radhika. I hope it must be her.
Yeah, because
though she's not with me in Bangalore, she's in Cochin.
Okay. This surname was similar. So again, yeah, that's all we have, that great learning. So if anybody has a question, people, you can ask, because yes, what I hear and what I see, we can actually get mesmerized listening to you, you know, for another hour also. But let's have some people ask questions if they might like to. Okay, I think someone is unmuting. So what difference do you feel is, you know, within this entrepreneurial and working full time? There is so much uncertainty in entrepreneurship. How do you deal with that uncertainty?
No, it's a question of, you know, do you really know what you love or do you love what you do? So if you're doing something which you love, it doesn't matter whether you are an entrepreneur or an employee.
Agree.
Most of us, initially, we rarely get to understand this as a concept. And that's because, you know, we are not, all of us are not Tendulkars and Vishwanathan Anands and Kareena Kapoors and all. So we first get something, start loving it, and try to continue the journey. It takes years for you to understand, okay, there are some more interesting areas where I actually want to test my, you know, skill or, you know, test myself.
Yeah.
So an entrepreneur journey is essentially because they are actually wanting to, I'm not talking of those entrepreneurs who are aping. I mean, I am seeing a successful shop on my street, so I will open another successful shop, similar shop, same thing, and 10 fellows like that open, then you know what happens.
True.
So this is only aping. This is not actually an entrepreneurial journey. And for an entrepreneur, he should have a clear idea as to what he wants to do.
Yes.
And why he wants to do that. What is the pain point he's going to address? And who is his TG? The moment he's connected with this as a concept, you be rest assured, it doesn't matter whether he works 18 hours a day, whatever pain he goes through, he will push on because, you know, he's able to focus and follow there.
Correct.
An employee, initial years may, What do you want? You want to be what? A good employee? I want to learn the ropes. Let us look back at our own starting career.
Yeah.
I want to be treated as an excellent or a good value-add employee. So I learned the tricks of the trade. Then I want to be a major team player.
Right.
I want others to take me into their team. And then I want to lead the team. And then I want to grow from a unit to an area, to a larger area, to a country head.
Yeah.
In the growth, in the journey, if you are continuously keeping yourself happy, if you are enjoying the journey, and don't bother about the designation. If you're enjoying the journey, you're highly successful there. No issue.
Yeah. Agree. I totally agree with you. And I think I love that concept, because if you're enjoying what you're doing, it's more like having fun than, you feel like work. So yeah, doesn't make much difference. That was a brilliant point. We do have Ashalata Pramod, who says he is one great motivator. 5 minutes with him and the sagging spirits would surge and the team would be raging to go. Wow, that's amazing.
It's from the name I know who Asha is, but it's a great tribute to, I would say, Jaya and Prebraj and this forum of Power Up, because the last I heard and spoke to Asha would have been at least nearly a decade ago.
Good. So you have some feedback here. Okay. So we have a question for you. Nisha is asking, what will be your message to young minds, considering nowadays we need shortcuts to success?
No, shortcuts will not take you anywhere in the long run.
Agreed.
Shortcuts will take you to places in the short journeys that you're planning to go. But if you are a marathon runner and if you want to leave a legacy behind, you can be rest assured that shortcuts is not the answer. My answer to my young colleagues, I do have 2 young daughters. One, of course, is married and having kids. The other one yet to get married. So I can understand. If they are, I would say today's youngsters are much more brilliant, sharper than what you are much younger to me. So what me and Prem and others would have been, who is around the 60 plus in this category, they had their clarity is very good. Their understanding is very good. Their exposure is much, much higher. They know. Only thing is, they are too troubled with the turbulences today available in the market, whether it is the gadgets, the exposure, etc. And it takes time for them to realize which is the right and which is the to be avoided. The moment they get that piece right, I'm sure they will get that piece right one day. Earlier they get that piece right, I would say they are onto a successful path. Shortcuts, I'm sure, I would not like to talk about shortcuts per se, because anything that you don't follow in the right path is not going to succeed and stand with you for even for a few years, I would say.
Yeah,
people will see through you. People will see through you. See, I can muskify my boss and take a promotion for 2 successful times. Or let us say 2 successful promotions I may be able to manage. But to expect to get 30 promotions in 30 years to become a CEO of a company by muskifying doesn't happen. So there I would suggest my answer to them, or if I'm to answer her question correctly, I would say set your own values. Forget your father's value, forget your parents' value, forget your teacher's value. Set your own values. Validate your values. Validate your values and ensure that they are on the right track and you are on the right track. Follow them. It doesn't matter whichever passion you are going to pursue, you will succeed.
I hope that answers you, Nisha. That was a great insight. Madhu is saying a great sharing by Mr. Sethu Madhavan. For some time, I went down the memory lane of having joined SBI in 1982. And then in 1984, joined a PO, a newly established national institution of NABARD. I could very well resonate with your experiences. Thanks for a wonderful session.
Thank you, Madhu. I don't think we know each other, but I would say I thank you for your nice words and good comments.
Also, Bindu Madhav would like to ask a question. You can unmute also and ask, ma'am.
Sure. Hi, Setu, Bindu Madhav here.
Hi,
Nice to
Bindu.
hear you. One quick question. You touched upon the point of a relationship, and I suppose that's your strongest, one of the capabilities and one of the qualities. We also talked about the technology that is brought in recent past. Now, when these two different things are together in today's technology world, how do you still find an importance of a relationship when more and more we are talking in terms of a technology and the human touch or the one-to-one relationship is getting little slowly exhausted? Is it the reality? And if it is, then how it's going to happen?
Bindu, I'm so happy that you asked this question because you made me think on the feet. I had not thought about it, but you made me think on the feet, and let me respond from that perspective. The greatest advantage I am able to connect with myself on technology is you are able to connect with more people more closely than you would have been without the technology which we are having today. For example, a WhatsApp. We are all able to connect with our schoolmates, college mates, organizational people who have worked with across, and this was not there possible 5 years ago. 10 years ago, it was unheard of, unthinkable. That's one. Second, you talk from a professional point of view. Your ability to reach out to corporates, your ability to reach out to your customers, whether they be individuals, organizations, whatever they might be. It is the technology which is enabling us. But relationship definitely is the foundation on which the pillars of technology are going to be built. You cannot put the reverse. You cannot have technology as a foundation and try to build a relationship over that. I won't think that works in the long run, because relationships, the reason why I'm trying to, let me try to articulate what I'm saying. When you establish a relationship, are you able to sustain the relationship? You don't have to transact with each other. To what extent are we genuine with one another? Are we considerate? Do you know their pain? Do they know your pain? Or is it that, I am the boss, so I'm always right? It doesn't happen. So what I have felt is, I'm 100% sure all my colleagues, all my family members who have worked with me will know all my weaknesses also. And that is what makes the relationship so strong. I have the ability to understand each one of us as we are. Once that is there, I feel technology enables us to reach out to relations and friends whom we were not connected, establish new friends, and keep in touch with them. So I think they go hand in hand. I don't think that, I get what Bindu is saying, we always say, mobile phones is taking up, even in the same family with 4 members, always on mobile, this, that, etc., is there. I do agree that the gadgets do take away some time, but if you know how to use gadgets well, and if you can channelize that, it's also an energy. No? We always say, channelize your energy so that it becomes productive. Channelize your devices and technology so that they become productive and add value to you in terms of relationship building. That's all I can think of at this juncture. But I will definitely give you a serious thought. I said earlier, sometimes it is the questions which provoke and makes you think larger than the answers you already have. So Bindu, thank you very much for the question.
No, but I think, Setu, thank you. I think you connected the dots well, the relationship with the technology. And yes, we believe when we come across this often, we meet, we don't meet, but this technology keeps us connected at least. My only point, what I was trying to relate to the banking, because the more we need to be interactive with the customer, more the business and more the banking. But I think you connected it rightly. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. That was great, Setuji. We again have Payal Irani who's saying it was indeed an insightful session. Thank you, sir. God bless you. Ramesh says, brilliant articulation on relationship versus technology, especially from the feet, so nimble-footed. Now we have a question from Murli Krishnan. He says, this is Murli Krishnan, your energy level and clarity is great, sir. What do you think challenges of SMEs post-COVID era?
I would say it is the thinking which is the biggest challenge for not only SMEs, anybody under the sun. I have come across a lot of people spending their majority time watching the TV news channels, discussing about how COVID is spreading in California, let us say Yugoslavia, and which all places. I don't know how long, how many days they are going to go and visit all these places and how it is going to affect them. I can understand you getting affected. And then, you know, the WhatsApp messages. There is one set of messages which is right from morning you wake up, or even at midnight you go to the washroom to wake up, you start looking at COVID related literature or this one. So if you ask me, the biggest challenges MSMEs has is thinking that we are in a difficult situation. There is COVID and these things are not going to be back to normal. That is the first is in the thinking. It starts with the mind. Next, yes, things have changed. I'm 100% sure that people can't travel. People can't, a lot of restrictions are there. How can you adapt to the current situation? You know very well that, you know, things are not going to be the same. As a trainer, I know very well that, you know, I am not going to classrooms and teach them wherever they want it. So if for me, what is important, I need to adapt with whatever will work. Same thing with MSMEs. MSME, what are the basic things an MSME need? First is, yes, you have to have a product or a service. And then there is a logistics involved, which is in the transshipment of your goods and services, or even the trading things. Thanks to the government initiatives or the people's initiatives and brilliant thinking, whether it is the social distancing or whatever, let us say preventive measures, things are actually happening. So it's a question of how do you reach out to your customers? What is the biggest challenge an MSME today face? It is not production. It's actually reaching out to the customers. How do you reach? My first answer to that, I would say, Murali, is actually, if I am a, let us say, Kirana store, and I have been servicing the, let us say, the nearest 5 kilometers around my store, how do I reach out to them? Do I have all their contact phone numbers? Who are my major customers? Do I have their database? Can I connect with them on the mobile phone and say that, sir, you want something, I can get it delivered to your doorstep? How do I do it? What all the things? Plus, along with that, he can add, don't ask me for, 5 rupee things and 10 rupee things. Please ensure that my minimum order is, let us say, 500 or 1000 rupees. This is first connect. You connecting with the customer. Customer understands, he appreciates, and from there you take it on. So I would say technology, you don't have to be familiar with, Python and Java and artificial intelligence and machine learning. But at least you should, if you know how to use a mobile phone very well, and what are the basic stuff like, the WhatsApp and Telegrams and the basic messaging system, that itself should be the starting point. From there on, we can add on, Murali, for paucity of time, let me just, concept I have given, but we can work on it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Nice to hear your voice, and it's a great connecting again.
Thank you.
I was in Salem with you, and
I am full. The moment I heard your voice, I connected with you.
Thank you so much, sir. I started doing consultancy. This input is a great input for me to, servicing my clients also.
So once again, like Asha, Murali has not spoken to me for more than 12 years or 10 years. Ever since I retired, I don't think Murali and me have connected. So Murali, I would thank PowerUp for, opening up this channel of connecting with some people whom I have not had an opportunity.
We had once in one training session in between. Otherwise, it's great to connect again, sir.
Thank you.
So you spoke about Asha. I would like to acknowledge she's been here for last 5 days. Every session she's attended, and that's nice of her. Asha, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Prem, that is because, if you know Asha, I am not surprised because, Asha was one of the best sportswomen in her times.
I know.
She is elder to me, but she was one of the best sportswomen in her time. And she is an out and out sports person also.
She is. Well, anything you wanted from the sports, when I was in Calicut, we did a lot of sporting activities. Tell something to Asha and she'll get it done. Whether it's booking our ground, getting people, and a lot of other stuff. Thank you, Asha.
Thank you both for such sweet words. Very encouraging. Thank you.
Setu, Niranjan here.
Hi, Niranjan.
Hi, good evening.
Very good evening.
I just going back to your earlier questions which Prem had asked you on this in your initial journey of IMK. You told you have one session to prepare for the best practices in the bank. Would you like to share something which you might have come across your 40 years of experience, which would have been as one of the top 2-3 best practices? And going forward, sometime back you talked about the technology on AI and ML. How that will be implemented if the best practice has to go ahead?
And Niranjan, you being a technology man, I would not love to get into an argument or a discussion on AI and ML with you. But having said that, my learning is very simple. Each one of those successful banks had different plans on which they built their credibility and success. We all understand and we all name the banks. Let us say, for example, HDFC Bank, I don't think anybody, whether the customers or the staff, will say that is the most people-oriented or, relationship-oriented per se. But it is the most successful bank because it is built on the success of its processes. So there, the technology played, and I won't say that they are not the one who have invested maximum in the technology amongst banking. To me, it is ICICI Bank which has invested the maximum in terms of money in technology. But HDFC was so very, very clear that, follow the process, rest of the things will fall in place. And Mr. Puri, I have great respect and regard for him, my ex-boss. He ensured that it happened. And for there, it doesn't matter whether it is a Setu or a Niranjan or a Prem or a Jaya, it doesn't matter. Process has to be followed in toto without any deviation. So the success of that bank essentially is the process. And a lot of people still say, it is an SOP bank, standard operating procedure bank. But that is the greatest success. You are very happy as a customer because you don't have to go and meet people. No? Tell me, why do you need to go to visit a branch other than operating a locker today? Nothing. Every other thing under the sun, you are able to do it sitting at home or in your office where. That is the success of one bank. The pillar for ICICI is something totally different. That's for Axis is different. State Bank of India, the biggest bank. The reach is their greatest. The Sarkar label, State Bank of India, that name itself is the power of that organization. Whether we like it or not is not the issue. People have a strong, strong faith in that organization. So, like that, Kotak, totally different ballgame. So, Niranjan, I think it may not be easy for me to answer and say that these are the two things. But one I can tell you very confidently. Those who are adept at using technology, they definitely have an edge over others. If you see of the public sector or the private sector, old or new, those who have completely adapted and aligned with the technological changes and moved with those changes, they've all been successful, provided they either followed a relationship model or a procedure, following a procedure model. Technology, but without technology, you might still have the best of relationships, but your own daughter and son may not want to bank with you because they don't have the time today to come and sit and chat and wait for half an hour to get a checkbook or a withdraw a cash. So today, technology is definitely, I would say, numero uno. Follow with that the processes, the right processes, and equally, if you can add relationship, this is what Bindu was trying to mention in the earlier thing. If you can add relationship to that and retain the relationship, which actually is much more easier because, the days when you and me and Prem and all got into banking, what were we doing? We were spending 60 to 75% of our time playing and not playing, I would say, fighting with the books and ledgers and numbers and figures and cash. Today, a youngster, we always say, seniors, I have heard always seniors saying that, today's youngsters, they don't know the banking per se. They don't have to, man. What they need to know is they need to know how to satisfy a customer, understand the customer requirement, pitch the right products and services to him, keep him happy. Today, the people have actually more time to build on relationships. Is it happening or not? It is not an organizational fault, it is a people issue. If you believe in people, if you love interacting with people, relationships automatically follow. But if you don't think that, relationships, or if you don't value interaction, or if you don't like being with people, then relationships take a backseat. I don't know, Niranjan, whether I've answered you.
Yeah, sure. You have answered. Setu, thank you very much. You have been a great orator, mentor, and role model for us for last almost 25 years since I know you. And I think most of the people who are there in this group, I know most of them, like Hirosh, Bhaskar, Joe Paul, all are there. They all will agree. Thank you very much, Setu.
Thank you, Niranjan.
Jaya, if
Prem,
you
I
don't have
think
any,
Prem and Jaya, you should have a watch on your time. I have a lot of
Yeah,
time.
No, it's okay.
So,
I will charge extra for extra
I'm
time. Doesn't matter.
I'm covering
Go
that
on.
Prem's initial starting of his innings.
yeah.
He's a rock solid player. He's like a 5-day match test player. He starts is keen on building innings. Thanks, Prem.
And
Yeah, thanks, Niranjan.
Niranjan is a technology banker who is now fully into MSME businessman. Successful
Not
and
yet,
doing well in
it's-
Mumbai.
Wow.
It's a long way to go, Setu. With all your blessings, yes, I'll try to do something.
Thank you, Niranjan.
Wow. Thank you for that. It was such a, I can see smiles on everybody's videos. So we have Ramesh who says brilliant articulation on relationship. Okay, that was that. K. Nihari Prabhu says pleasant listening to Setu. His clarity and positive thinking always attracted the listener. I'm happy to say I was his colleague.
Thank you,
Then
Prabhu.
we have M. Menon. He says, I am Mohan, Setu's friend and colleague during the SBT phase of his career. A wonderful friend, guide, mentor, and philosopher. Enjoyed his session thoroughly. Enriching experience. He is one person who does not only walk the talk, but also talks in truly inspiring manner in his walks, on his walks. Wow.
And let me thank you, Mohan. Mohan, incidentally, is a civil servant. Mohan is a civil servant. He was in the very senior position in the Indian Railways. And Mohan was the one who connected with me to an organization called National Institute of Indian Railways, National Academy of Indian Railways.
National Academy of
Indian Railways, and it is today the Rail University of the country. And I have had privileges to take both classes in their Baroda campus, which itself is a palace on wheels, I would say. And then offline classes online classes when all his participants and all of them got stuck in their rooms when the COVID hit suddenly. And it was my first experience online. And it was a wonderful experience because, 56 participants. We handled a 1.5 to 2 hour session online, and each one logging in from their rooms, and it was a wonderful experience. Mohan is just now retired and cooling his heels in Trivandrum.
Superb.
But thanks to this show, Prem, I've been able to connect with many of my old friends. I don't know when we all last met physically.
That's nice. That's nice. So Jaya, I'll wind up now.
Sure.
So thank you for your time. Thank you for your time and inputs. You're one of the most knowledgeable and capable persons we have in our midst. You are admired for your sterling qualities of being inclusive and accommodative. We are blessed to be in your proximity. Thank you very much. And
thank you, Prem. Thank you, Jaya, for this wonderful platform.
Thank you so much.
To all the good things Prem said, let me say I'm still a student, an ardent, desirous student. So I will love learning, and please pray for me to continue my journey in my learning and quest for learning. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you all my friends. Thank you all my friends who have taken your time, evening, instead of enjoying with your family, to be on this show and interacting. I believe relationship is something which will be there eternally also. Thank you.
Mahesh is saying, hearing Setu sir and seeing Prem sir together, it's like learning a lot. Reza is saying, behind every successful man, there has to be a woman. We know who that is, Dr. Suprabha.
Reza happens to be my wife is a doctor. So,
Oh, wow.
and supervisor, my wife, she's a doctor. Reza, if I remember correctly, and if I'm able to recollect, he is her classmate. And
Oh.
somewhere abroad, if I'm not mistaken, in US.
Okay, okay, that's nice. That's so nice to have seen this kind of reunion. I'm so glad I could experience this. Thank you, Setuji. It was amazing listening to you. I just loved everything that you spoke about and the synergies that happen and the smiles that I can see on everybody's camera here. It was a wonderful session. Thank you so much. Thank you, each one of you, for being here with us in spite of the delay and a little glitch that happened in the beginning. But really, I love you all for being here with us and being so supportive and such lovely energy. I will meet you very soon. Tomorrow, yet another speaker will be here with us, and we look forward to meeting you and many, many more such series and going on and on and on. Thank you so much. Please connect with us for Power Up. I have put my details on the chat, and I would love for you all to connect with us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Setuji. Thank you, Prem Raj, for doing this series. I'm just loving it. And thank you, everybody, all those that are smiling, waving. My love to you. Thank you so much for the cooperation. Bye-bye. Have a great evening. Thank you. So sweet. Bye-bye.